A few videos ago, I mentioned how I could not possibly cover everything about vaccinations in one video, and that it was being included in my speed round just to give you guys an introduction to the topic. Today, we will be taking a deeper dive into vaccinations for animals, how they work, why some people disagree with them, and misinformation about them. This is not an intent to call people who do not vaccinate their animals abusers. However, I will not restrain myself from saying that I believe that the decision to not vaccinate your animal is usually a misinformed one. Let's start with the facts that we have a basis to form an opinion with. Vaccinations teach your animal's immune system how to defend itself. It does this by stimulating the immune system to create antibodies capable of recognizing and fighting against disease before the disease is actually introduced into the immune system. Vaccinations are proven to reduce veterinary costs in the long run and increase your pet's overall quality of life. The argument that I'm about to present you guys with is one that I actually have had in real life. I am by no means trying to make people who are against vaccinations look unintelligent. I am just presenting the same rhetoric that I have been shown by these people. To make the distinctions between my arguments a little bit more recognizable, I am going to have my anti-vax alter ego wear this hat. Not all owners can afford for their animals to get vaccinated. Besides, there are plenty of articles that lead vaccinations to autism, and so I would go as far as to argue that protecting an animal against a mental disorder is more important than making sure that they don't get rabies, which is rare to begin with. There are a large amount of places, such as the Humane Society, that allow for one's animal to be vaccinated at a much lower cost than veterinary clinics. But that shouldn't really matter. If you can't afford to give your animal its basic necessities such as healthcare, you should not have bought that animal in the first place. Also, the autism argument has gone too far. You learn why the statistic is not true during your first basic probability class in college. Correlation does not imply causation, ever. There has to be a distinct cause and a distinct effect, and so far, none has been found. I would go as far as to argue that the reason that there's a link in the first place is because families who get their pets and children vaccinated are more likely to be able to afford and be open to a diagnosis of autism. This common factor is going to be wealth and logic, not necessarily the vaccines themselves. Well, that's blatantly classist rhetoric. Next, you're going to tell me that people who don't have enough money shouldn't have children. Having pets and children is a right, not a privilege, and so it's only natural that not all people can vaccinate their cat. Also, while correlation doesn't equal causation, why would you want to take that risk? Home remedies can be effective in preventing disease as well, and that includes for pets. Well, just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean that it's right to do something. Of course, everyone has the right to have children and pets. It wouldn't be a free country if we didn't. Still, deciding to make more additions to your family when you're already struggling financially is a selfish one. Why would you intentionally bring a living being into a world of hardship? Would it not be more logical to save up your money and provide them a much better life instead?